avoid liberation just have vastly different understandings of what liberation is for.
I haven't seen this much importance and attention.
The story itself is a really wonderful, really great setup.
Tractor beam has been engaged.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tractor Beam Comics Reviews, your one-stop shop for in-depth commentary and discussion on this week's Star Wars comics. It is Wednesday, September 10th, 2025. It's the 37th week of comics in 2025. That's a good Monty Python reference if you get it. If you don't worry about it. But anyway, I'm Matthew. That's Chris. Chris, how you doing this week?
I'm doing well. I'm thinking about a lot of other things that aren't Star Wars, but I'm doing well. So It's not relevant to talk about them here.
Well, you know, even there's even a Star Wars thing that you don't think is too relevant that we'll talk about anyway at the end. It's very hot like. There you go. Yes, gonna dive right in. First of all, so we've got two pretty solid comic books tonight. Jedi Knights number 7, Tales of the Nightlands number 1. Very much a lot of prequels to Space Wizardry, so I'm excited to dive into both of those. Let's get the plugs out of the way. You can follow us at the tractorbeam.bisky.social. It's a relatively new account. Threw that up about a few weeks ago, so please do give that a follow if you are on Blue Sky. And if you're not on Blue Sky, tell your friends who are. There you go. Give that a follow. Give that a look. You can follow everything Chris is up to at Starraptor, StarRapter, on Twitter and on YouTube, youtube.com/StarRaptor there. Everything's up to. Also, of course, we're on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If audio is more your speed, we are there. Whenever we're done recording, I will throw this bad boy up onto onto Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I think some other podcatchers. So if you prefer audio, please check that out. Tractor Beam. It's the Tractor Beam Star Wars Comics Reviews is what it's called there. The Tractor Beam Star Wars Comics Reviews. So if you search for Star Wars Comics or Star Wars Comics Reviews, hopefully it'll pop up. That's the idea there. We are, of course, proudly part of the Star Wars Underworld Discord, or Underworld Network Podcast Network, I should say. Here on the Underworld, I'm getting to the Discord server, getting ahead of myself. Here on the Underworld YouTube channel, we have super chats, we have YouTube memberships. If you comment down below, we'll get to it when we can. If you super chat us, we'll get to it immediately. And yeah, if you want to become a channel member and support the network in that way, we are most grateful. Also, the Discord server down below. You can find a link into the Discord server where we're chatting about comics. We're chatting about Legends versus Canon, about Bothans and Legends versus Canon, because apparently there are Bothans in canon somewhere. Why not? We're chatting about different concepts, different things in Star Wars and elsewhere, and also I believe there is going to be a movie night, film night Friday at I believe 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, talking a documentary that came out shortly after the prequels. Looks pretty interesting, so check that out in the Discord server down below. Should mention that yes, we are on Blue Sky there. Last but not least, Tractor Beam Live from Fan Expo Canada, the panel that Ash and I did with Ethan Sachs and in the room, and then Paolo Villanelli chiming in from Italy. That is up on this here YouTube channel. We would be honored, we would be delighted if you give that a look. It's about 40 minutes. Good conversation, mostly about bounty hunters, a little bit about Codebreaker, and just comic book writing and drawing generally. Fun conversation, definitely the kind of thing I'm going to want to do again. So please do give that a look. All right. All right. Move right along to Jedi Knights. We'll pick up those plugs again at the end, as always, but you're going to move along to the comics we got today. First off is Jedi Knights number 7. This one is written by Mark Guggenheim with art by Madabek Muzabekov, colors by Luis Guerrero, and letters by VC's Clayton Coles. Cover also by Madabek Muzabekov along with Jesus Abertov. Qui-Gon Jinn is dead, or he will be. If Jedi Knights Mace Windu and Aayla Secura can't find the antidote to the poison that is killing him, the antidote can only be found on Sinsara, the most dangerous planet you've never heard of. But what is the mysterious connection Sinsara has with Qui-Gon Jinn's past? And two thoughts of things that stand out to me. First off, Aayla gone by any means necessary and comes at the expense of the Kaijura. We can bring those back. I'll bring out panel of the night for me, at least in this book. This whole page, this splash page here, really evocative on an angle. Love that. But of course, Aayla ends up killing the thing, and she's so driven. And this is more Aayla character than we see often, which which stood out to me, I think. And just the way she's, and it's Mace Windu who's kind of pulling back and saying, "Got to respect these creatures, and too bad we have to kill them." And which is further on, Mace Windu is going to get this reputation for being the guy who wants to kick butt and take names and diplomacy at the end of his purple lightsaber. But at this point, and that fits, I think, with the Mace Windu comic we got earlier this year, and he has this evolution, and this is, of course, earlier in that evolution. So fascinating to see those two characters. The second thing that stands out to me in this one is, this one does such a better job of connecting with the rest of the run. Early on in the run, it was these one-off, almost one-shots, anthology of one-shots. But here we bring back the Kaijura from issue number 3. Everything had the editor note there, and it continues on from issue number 6. When Qui-Gon gets stabbed and picks up right where we left off, where they have to go to this planet and try and deal with the authorities, but then they get banished themselves to the Mace and Aayla get banished themselves. I really like this way of writing the story, of following the story. I don't think next month is going to do the same thing, but I might be surprised. But I did like the way it's two Jedi we haven't seen in this featured, at least in this run before. Of course, we know Mace Windu and Aayla Secura, but it's two Jedi we've kind of the Jedi of the week, and yet it's carrying forward the story. And I found that a really effective balance. Really curious next month. It's from this perspective of this Force sensitive child. Another thing of trying something new, something different, but hopefully Keller and Beck is going to be in it, but hopefully we come back to this pattern of new Jedi of the month, but carrying the same story forward. I think it's a good balance. So those are my thoughts on Jedi Knights number 7. What stood out to you, Chris, in this one?
Yeah, I'll echo what you said. I mean, I was going to also touch on the whole idea of killing the creature, Aayla Secura, again. Just great to see. This is what this series is doing well, is it's adding to these characters that are background, very, very background characters that don't even speak anything in the movies. So we're getting to see more about them, more what's happening with them. As I said to you off air, more cut and dry story, right? We're just kind of going through the plot device here of and that's where it's like it loses me a little bit. It's like, did we have to have Qui-Gon on his deathbed? Could we done with another character that could have been on this to add to the suspension of tension? It just feels so like anticlimactic.
We know what
happened.
happens.
Really, it's just anybody else, right? You could have picked any other Jedi that doesn't appear in Revenge of the Sith or something on a Jedi Council. Be like, do that character. I'm sure there's a couple that viewers and listeners are probably yelling at the screen or something right now. Listen to me. But that being said, I mean, there's really good stuff, as you were saying. First issue that really does tie back to issue number 3, because that issue was probably my least favorite issue of this run, because this story was like, I could probably fill one page of dialogue. There was mainly just action.
It's just the splash page issue.
It was a splash page issue, so you can't expect like big deep dives, any crazy lore or anything in that one. Or character motivation. So to bring them back and be like, okay, this is the Mace Windu is rationalizing, like, yeah, there's these things that are from another planet. It doesn't know what to do. It's out of its environment. It's going to attack.
Mhm.
Let's put it out of its misery. Plus, Qui-Gon will be saved if we kill it, kind of thing. So I
Yeah.
liked how at least there's a reason to kill it. People often gripe with Jedi Survivor, Jedi Fallen Order game where it's like,
Yeah.
we're just going around massacring these animals.
Mhm.
Guys, it's just a video game. Don't take it seriously. It's just a video game. What else are we gonna do? I guess you can kill another 500 stormtroopers, but that might get old after a while.
Yeah.
But so as far as that's concerned, that's good. One thing that I wrote down that I didn't mention in my own video that came out today was there's a couple quick shots of really good Japanese culture in this with these characters on
Yes.
Sansara. The people are there. Mace and Aayla are having a meal with this character, and they're I believe they're barefoot, but they're definitely sitting cross-legged on a table low to the ground, kind of like the tables I was eating at in Japan a couple months
Nice. Yeah.
ago. So coming right off of that trip, I'm like, oh, that's really cool how we got to see that. But fleshing out this planet, which it's interesting because it really did leave a little bit more to be desired. Like, why were the Jedi like hated by these characters? We never really got that answer. I
Yeah.
do like how there's this banished faction,
Mhm.
and it was really cool seeing Mace Windu and Aayla just like fighting like legions of these
Yeah.
ninja looking people off, which is really nice, really fun.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's about it for me on this one.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it does raise some more questions, which does a good job of saying, okay, we're kind of invested. What's happening here? Hopefully further on, because clearly this planet has something to do with, like, Qui-Gon has something to do with this planet in the past. He's probably responsible for the banishment, why Jedi aren't welcome either. But yeah, this very, very Japanese-esque. It's even in a dojo, it looks like, and they have the those robes, which, I mean, the Jedi robes are modeled after, in part modeled after samurai, and so it was an interesting full circle moment, kind of getting us prepped for Visions, the next Visions run, so or season rather. So yeah, I get that. I do wonder, the going back to issue 6 a little bit, right? I get your point with the whole lack of suspense. Again, we know what happens with Qui-Gon. We know how he dies. We've known since 1999. I thought it was an interesting bait and switch because I thought, and I think I even said this when we are talking about issue 1, I guess is when it comes up, or 2. I thought Obi-Wan is getting this vision of Maul stabbing him, and turns out no, he actually does get stabbed on this planet. I mean, it could be both, up to interpretation. Visions are gobbledygookly weird that way, but yeah, I agree. It is a bit of a straightforward issue that doesn't really give us too many answers, and I don't think next month is going to do that. Going to come back here, but hopefully issue number 9, number 10 dives into this more. So I mean, or a run after this or something. So credit to Mark Guggenheim for giving us, and Madabek and Luis. I mean, very vibrant colors here and art here, giving us a story we want more of. So there we go. Anything more to say before we move along?
Let's move along.
All right, because we got more to say about this one. Speaking of comic we want more of, Tales of the Nightlands #1. This is written by Calvin Scott, art and gather colors by Sue Lee, letters by Comicraft's Tyler Smith, friend of the pod, and Jimmy Betancourt, and cover by Francesco Francavilla. On Ryloth, Twi'leks whisper about the Nightlands, the realm where their spirits retire after death. Legend says that on nights when the veil is thinnest, you can speak with the shades who reside there. Right. On one such night, Anakin and his Twi'lek friend Daisha try to summon the ghost of a much-loved relative for a final goodbye. But when Anakin makes contact with the Nightlands, the answer is anything but friendly. Enter the Nightlander, a Star Wars boogeyman that seeks to possess a living host and bring chaos to the galaxy. Oh my word, what a start. Chris, I'll throw this to you. What do you think of Tales of the Nightlands #1?
Yeah, this is what happens when you have a High Republic architect writing a Star Wars comic. I gotta say, I feel like
Mhm.
Lucasfilm has kind of handed the keys to the kingdom for those 5 authors to say, okay, you handled your character so well,
Mhm.
go write the legacy characters. Charles,
Yep.
write Kylo Ren. Kavan, write Rey with the Jaws of Jakku. Go
Mhm.
ahead, write Obi-Wan. Go ahead, write Anakin.
Mhm.
This is what happens when Lucasfilm is starting to give a little bit more
Mhm.
leniency for like writing the main characters, because how long have you been waiting for somebody to finally get a story where they can tell about Obi-Wan and Anakin?
Yeah.
That was my main takeaway. The ghost story stuff is cool.
Yeah.
I like how we're finally getting more stuff about this relationship between a young, like probably couple months to a year or so after Phantom
Mhm.
Menace, by the looks of Anakin at
Yeah.
that point, and a young Obi-Wan that's getting the that has a scruff already from Attack of the Clones. Like, I like to see
Mhm.
that there's those conversations that were happening in this issue. And by the way, this issue felt like it was longer. It was kind of a longer issue,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Definitely more a
Maybe.
higher page count. It's got to be a higher page count because there's only 3 issues. So I figure
Mhm.
they're almost like a one-shot length each, probably would be my guess, because it took me a while to read through it. Very heavy on dialogue, but in a good way, because we are getting more out of Obi-Wan, getting more out of
Mhm.
Anakin. The idea Anakin wants to help people like he was in Tatooine, with the slaves
Mhm.
on there, everything,
Yeah.
like just seeing like with the Twi'lek, like, yeah, I want to help, like not seeing the bureaucracy of it all, and just seeing that, okay,
Mhm.
I don't care about what politics or whatever is happening here. I just want to be a good person and help you.
Mhm.
And then just, that age old story of, cautionary tale of like, don't mess with something that you don't understand,
Yeah.
because then you lead to disaster. And all this being said, but then at the same time, Kevin Scott is really relishing and diving deep into the lore of the Twi'lek culture, and
Mhm.
so many things I had to jot down in here. Like Feast of Remembrance. There's like what is the first family or something like that. Or
Mhm.
it's like all these different terms that I had never heard of. I don't know if they are legends or not,
Mhm.
but it's really neat. And like Anakin's still learning his abilities. Stuff with like Qui-Gon that's haunting Anakin a little bit.
Mhm.
Then you have this idea of a ghost story, which is
Yeah.
like icing on the cake. So that was
Mhm.
that was my take on this so far.
Yeah. I agree, and just to echo again what you were saying. I mean, it really gives a good Anakin story. It gives good Anakin character that we haven't. You're right. We haven't gotten. I was all let that be the ongoing Obi-Wan Anakin. No, we're getting it at least in this. And the moment that really stood out to me was the Qui-Gon moment. I'm guessing it stood out to a lot of people. We have Dave Filoni talking about in the I guess that Mandalorian behind the scenes thing, talking about how Qui-Gon, or is it the Obi-Wan Kenobi behind the scenes? One of those. Um, kind of about how when Qui-Gon dies, he's not able to be the one to keep Anakin on the straight and narrow, um, with the flexibility that Qui-Gon can bring. Obi-Wan is left to fend for himself and figure this out as he goes, and uh, how well can he do? And ultimately, I mean, it was an impossible situation for him, for this kid who just, yeah, like you said, wants to do the right thing, but it turning out, I mean, it'll turn out wrong again. He wants to take care of Padme, wants to protect Padme, but that goes south. He ends up killing a bunch of sand people. you know uh all leading the road to the dark side being paved with good intentions here. So yeah, he's like you said, he wants to help, but uh again, messing with life and death, and that's again another theme from the prequels that we see on display here. The fact that it was really revelatory that Anakin is so longing for Qui-Gon. I did not think of that, and I'm like the Anakin guy, uh that he wishes he had Qui-Gon there. He's still, like you said, it's probably just shortly after his death, grieving that death, and I mean, here's a question for you, Chris. Uh, this bottom panel here, who is that?
Oh, hold on, I have to zoom in.
Yeah. What page are we on? On page 22. It's a 30-page comic. So yeah, you're right. It's a longer. Whose eyes are those?
I'm not Obi-Wan? Is that Obi-Wan's
See,
eyes?
I thought it might be Obi-Wan, and that's the thing. Like we've seen Anakin for this whole time, but yeah, I think also, spotlights Obi-Wan looks like Ewan McGregor's eyes. So yeah, the way the way Qui-Gon just looms in this for that little moment, in a different way that he kind of looms in the previous comic in Jedi Knights for a different reason. But yeah, I agree. It really gives us that depth of the character, and just he does. I mean, it shows just how warm and kind Obi-Wan is to Anakin at this point. And I loved seeing that, because everything, of course, is a prelude to what we see in Attack of the Clones, and then of course Revenge of the Sith, which everything going south. So that I do want to cycle back then to the Twi'lek lore and the whole themes about the dead and playing with life. What kind of things about that stood out to you?
Yeah, no, I really like the idea of the celestial bodies lining up
Mhm.
at a certain point to
Yeah.
create this kind
What's
of
it called?
paradox situation. And like it was this like touching thing of like, okay, the little girl wants to talk to her grandfather. The grandfather
Mhm.
was coming up with a way to talk to the ghost. And I love
Right.
the idea of how she starts speaking like a different language, and it's
Yeah.
translated from like old Twi'lek or something like
Yeah.
that.
Ancient Twi'lek. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that was really interesting. And then it was cool because, my gosh, I just got done watching The Conjuring 3 over the weekend,
Oh,
and it's
nice.
about demons and stuff. And but the idea of like this Nightlander wanted to find a corporeal vessel to embody, to stay around longer, to do what she wants, rather than all of a sudden it's like the whole thing with Anakin like talking to this creature to the point where it gets delayed and it gets sucked back in
Mhm.
and won't be around for another 30 years. I laughed at that. It's like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
that specifically lines up with the original trilogy, and 30
Well,
years
yeah.
from that specifically lines up with the Force Awakens era. So
Yeah. Well, that's like the Aki plan thing, the ancestors, 42 years. There we go.
uh,
Yeah. But yeah, sorry, keep going if you're good.
yeah, no, so it's cool, man. It's a Star Wars galaxy. We've seen
Mhm.
zombies. I mean,
Mhm. Yeah.
what's to say there's not plenty of ghosts and different phenomena like this out
Yeah.
there? So, but just the way the story was told, it's just like,
Mhm.
of course, you gotta love these stories around this time of year, where a month and
Yep.
some change away from Halloween. It's that time of year, pumpkins coming out and stuff.
Yep.
So it's like, all right, here we go. This is
Mhm.
perfect timing. And Kevin Scott,
Yes.
as we know, this is his wheelhouse, like combining classic lore with interweaving with Star Wars. But I do say, like,
Mhm.
this might be, like, at least with this first issue anyway, like,
Yeah.
be the best attempt he's had yet at
Mhm.
or execution yet of really making a believable like Star Wars lore. It like makes sense in
Mhm.
canon that this would have happened.
Yeah, and well, what's surprising about that is, the previous ones he has to work with things that have already been established, right? I mean, Vader's castle, the Death Star, I guess Jabba's palace, different things. Here, he gets to make it up all on his own, and gets to, like you said, bring in his horror expertise. He's calling this all a cavalcade of horror. He has his own branding for that. I saw in his newsletter, the Cav letter. Yeah, it really, I mean, it shows, like you said, what the High Republic author really, the way that they plot things out and think things through. But also this horror writer who really knows the tropes and the genre, and the visual. I mean, Suli bringing the anime or the manga influence as well. I mean, just even the character designs, of course, the great Ian McCaig. Really shining strong in this, and in the concept art for it, and then you get that variant cover. Yeah, it really, it all, I mean, it comes together in just this perfect balance. I think I know it's recent, this is already my favorite of the Tales books. Of course, I mean, I love Anakin Vader, so I mean, and that's the thing, he's written Vader before, just in the weird spooky way. Now Anakin is the self-insert character almost. So yeah, it was really effective, really engaging, and it's, again, too bad it's only 3 issues. That's the thing. I mean, that's my one gripe is at least pick. I would have liked it if he could just pick other points in the timeline and not just say let's go back to the High Republic, let's go to a different era, pick another day, pick another number that doesn't necessarily have to line up, it doesn't have to be the 30 years. Do that. Yeah. Give us more issues, but so it'll get interesting. Like, he's getting the legacy character here, he's getting Luke and Leia next issue, and he's getting Finn, and I believe Finn and Rey, or the sequel characters, the third one. So it's also him commenting on where these characters are at this time, which is I mean, I don't think we've seen Kevin Scott do a Luke and Leia story.
No, I don't think we have. This is going to be big time for him.
Yeah. Last thing to say, the Nightmare Conjunction. Speaking of Kevin Scott.
Wait, was that something uttered in the pages here?
So yeah, so it's called the Nightmare Conjunction. It's called it's
okay.
Yeah, and this is Daisha mentions the thing her grandfather was researching. And it's when everything lines up and how the Nightlander can, all the other ghosts can come and say, "It's my aunt. Hey, look, it's my aunt. Oh, don't let her come in. Don't let her come in." Those hilarious. Yeah. It's how she can have access to this plane, and basically, I mean, lie to Anakin and say there isn't the netherworld of the Force, there isn't life after death. And yet, of course, it's Qui-Gon. I just catching this now, and this is a bit of a tangent, going on a tangent here. It's Qui-Gon who's the one who is able to come back as a Force ghost. So, and not that long after this. So maybe Kevin's going to work something into that. Probably not. But I think maybe for issue number 2 we'll go into more of the philosophy behind this, because we're just holding on to how just the newness of this issue, this concept. Anyway, the what's it called again? The Nightmare Conjunction.
Yeah.
Is mentioned in Dooku Jedi Lost. So this is on Kevin's Blue Sky. Someone asked, I forget which another podcast account asked this. Is this like the Nightmare Conjunction mentioned in Dooku Jedi Lost? And it doesn't quite entirely fit. I mean, that has to do with something before the High Republic era. I think it's connected to the first mention of High Republic in that audio play. The phrase High Republic. That there was this planet, something to do with Darth Krall, and something, and this planet that is known from before the years of the Nightmare Conjunction, or the age of the Nightmare Conjunction. So I don't know how that fits with the 30-year cycle. I don't know. It might just be, that's a neat phrase that I made up, and I'm going to use it again, or something. Or he's gonna. It was this thing. I mean, I'm sure when he did Dooku Jedi Lost, it was like, I'm gonna just throw this thing that sounds neat, and if I want to do something with it later, I can. And then this challenge for himself later on. But I mean, this is again, another thing of Kevin picking up things he's laid down. And also, this is just, again, an aside, this is just kind of the lore bits here. That the fact that this involves something around Darth Krall, which we first learned about we first see in the High Republic, and that kind of connected to that mention. I mean, it's making making me get Phase More vibes. Even just this little mention of Nightmare Conjunction is making me think Dooku Jedi Lost is kind of like Phase More. Makes me want to listen to that back and see what kind of things are seated in, because of course that is until the Acolyte, that's the earliest we've gotten. It's Padawan youngling Dooku. So him and Sifo Dyas exploring the Bogan Vault. So yeah, Cavan definitely being the architect of a lot of this lore that is serving character in different ways, but he's also doing the great nerdy thing, the fun nerdy thing of making it all connect and work together. So here for it. Just wish could have more issues of this comic, but good to know. I mean, likely Dark Horse is going to see these numbers. It's going to hopefully do well, and he's gonna keep doing these kinds of tales, and hopefully you get even more exploratory, and even the art style in issue number 2, from what I've seen from San Diego, is mind blowing. So yeah, and a different artist too. So that's interesting. So anyway, that's all I got from Tales from the Nightlands number 1. Do you have any last thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of the art style. Excuse me.
Okay.
Of the art style in this one. Yeah, it's too manga-esque, which is fine. It's just, art is subjective. I just didn't care for it as much. I mean, I'm looking at Obi-Wan right now, and it's like something about the way they designed the beard. It's
still growing in. Off a little bit. Growing in. He's got the hair, the flowing mane, but the flow still. Yeah, fair.
I will say, like, the coloring is really good. Like, I like how they did a lot of like the blues and the grays and it's really, really dark greens. It it reads a lot like one of the Edge of Balance books.
Yeah, look up Edge of Balance is all black and white, but
yeah. So I'm curious to see what the next artist is going to bring to the table, and that's what's nice about these is you get somebody a shot at doing this. It's good.
Yeah, for sure. Looking forward to that. See, it says at the end here. I guess not. That's okay. October 2025. All right. Last little bit here. I want to bring this up because it's fun. Chris, you're going to shake your head here. Huts live forever, apparently. Video game madness. So I'm going to talk about a video game.
What video game? Wait, you see it a video game now?
So okay, so
what?
Have you seen this trailer?
What trailer?
So the trailer for Beyond Victory came out.
Oh, the Oculus thing or Meta?
Yeah, the Meta thing. Yeah.
Oh.
So anyway, Huts live forever. In the the trailer for it, the game comes out October 7th. The trailer features that swole hut Gracchus in some capacity. We don't quite know how, but he shows up, and he's looking even more buff than he does when we saw him before. Why are we talking about this? Chris is all, why are we talking about this? Well, because he's first and foremost a comic book character. He first showed up all the way back in Jason Aaron's 2015 ongoing run, and in 2016 we learned that he survived all the way into the sequel era in Charles Soule's Poe Dameron comic, where he's escapes from that prison, I think, and he was around during the Nile conflict, and then of course in the late Republic era. And so yes, Huts live a long time. And yeah, I always liked that character. I thought he was a good counterpart, especially to Poe. Charles especially wrote him well, and pretty distinctively an enigmatic character. And again, he's far more buff. He can actually basically walk around. Like, he has these robotic leg things that help him walk around, and you see him in the trailer, and he's a bodybuilder basically, which, unlike every hut we ever seen, as different of a hut as Churro is, I'd say, in different ways. And so it's just neat that he's found his way into this game based on Sebulba and pod racing that's set about halfway between the events of Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. So just again the comic to video game pipeline, the paper to screenish pipeline more broadly, although I consider video games kind of in that paper area. But yeah, that they reached in and said, "Hey, here's a cool character we can use," and I don't know. I'm guessing he's gonna be some sort of antagonist or something, but it's a neat moment. Again, unusual. People are gonna encounter this character for the first time because, I mean, how many people who read the comic book are gonna play the game?
Probably I can count them on one hand.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, how many people own an Oculus Quest is another question, but
I have a whole nother thing to get into. You want me
Yeah.
to start my whole soapbox about this whole issue and why I never really cared about this whole story?
Sure.
Because sorry, but VR has kind of failed as a template for video games.
Yeah.
And I owned an Oculus One.
Mhm.
Heck, I owned when they changed the name to a MetaQuest 2. I played it just so I could play Vader Immortal.
Yeah.
Which was like a 2-hour experience. And I played it. I got the second one so I could play Tales from Galaxy's Edge. Great. They're a really fun experience, really great experience.
Yeah.
Would I have paid $350 to $400 for each of those systems to play it and then never use it again? Probably not the best investment. But it's also not my issue either because it's just the software is lackluster or all around. So I seen this video. I was just playing it off. I did watch the video earlier. And I just have no I was leaving a suspense for the listeners and viewers to go, wait, he doesn't know what this is? How does he not know? But yeah, I have no enthusiasm because this is for like the first time that I'll probably just not experience. And the way that they worded this whole thing at Star Wars Celebration Japan was this isn't even really like a game. Like, I guess there's some kind of story here, but don't go in expecting like Vader Immortal, like big, deep narrative driven adventure story. Like, hey, you get to play and place, you watch the trailer, you get to place toys around your room and like race the things while not in first. There's some choices they made with this game where I'm like, why would you have a VR game and not be in first person flying a freaking pod racer?
Yeah.
Whose choice was that? These things are powerful enough now to be able to render at least an N64 caliber, at least version of that, through the chips in these things that are pretty powerful nowadays.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just like, oh, it's great that he's in there, Gracchus the Hutt, but I'm probably never gonna see this. So why am I gonna get excited?
Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, I did see the tabletop thing. That seemed kind of wonky. It's true. Like, why not? Yeah, why not be in first person? Like, I got episode 1 Racer on my PS4. I got the remake.
Yeah.
And that's first person or third person.
Let's say just feel like you go that fast. Most people are gonna get like motion sickness because that is a thing with VR. Is like,
maybe
if you play it for longer than 30 minutes, some of these games I've played in the past, it does get a little bit queasy, and you do get the your head starts to hurt, and then you start to get a little something in your stomach. It's like, okay, I need a break.
Just have the barf bucket next to you.
Oh god. Well, it helps when you
Just
sit
kidding.
down. If you sit down playing this, it's definitely a little bit more bearable than if you're standing and like walking while using it. Then your body really gets like thrown into the loop. But I mean, I'm all for comic book characters to make the jump to the screen. I'm just kind of jealous a little bit that it's like, okay, we should have put this guy in like Star Wars Rebels or Bad Batch or something first before you put him in this video game that like 500 people are gonna play.
Or Outlaws. I mean, maybe he's gonna be an Outlaws sequel. Like,
I hate to break it to you, but that news story got sent
out
earlier in the
there's
year
gonna
where
be no
there's
Outlaws
not
sequel.
going to be an Outlaws
I
anymore.
forgot about that.
Which is a shame because they just put out a really good port of the game on the Nintendo Switch 2, and apparently it runs great. Like, you could play that game portable mode, walking around anywhere on the bus, on the train, and be playing Star Wars Outlaws and playing at 30 FPS with as good as that game looked. So yeah, maybe Ubisoft maybe pulled the trigger too fast on that one, because I can see a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
probably buying it on the Switch 2 in the next year, and at least getting more money for the company. But that's the thing. It's a choice. It's a choice.
Yeah. It sure is a choice. Yeah.
To just the problem was the Ubisoft. They'll never touch Star Wars again, because the Yves Guillemot, the president CEO of Ubisoft, which is a French company, basically called out Lucasfilm on the failure of his company's game that he created, saying, "Oh, it's the brand's reputation right now, which was the reason why it didn't sell them." Like, excuse me, we're coming off of Andor and all this stuff. Like, the brand is not really point. It's your game company that had made some missteps and different things. You just don't want to blame yourself for it. But anyway, that's some video game background story here.
Never admit fault. Maybe Gracchus was in was in gonna be in Outlaws 2. They're like, okay, put him in this instead. I don't know. I mean, the timeline doesn't match up, but anyway.
Yeah, I mean, heck, maybe Gracchus is in The Mandalorian and Grogu. Maybe that's him standing there in the ring that we still haven't seen an official trailer yet for some reason. Maybe the general audience thinks it's like Rod of the Hutt, but the hardcore people like us, maybe he turns around and has lightsabers around.
Fisting, like doing his a fist bump or something, or not a fist bump, like this thing. Yeah. Whatever it is. Yeah. I don't. What you're the fitness guy. What's this? What does this mean? What is this word? The hand pump, whatever. Arm curl, or like raise his arm as a cheer. I don't know. He does something with his arm. Sure, does something with his arm. So yeah. I hopefully more things like this in a more popular medium.
Popular medium being the key. Because it's still crazy to me that you can't download a PDF of that comic online somewhere for free at this point. That's true.
I'm sure you can. You didn't hear it. I didn't say that, Marvel, but I'm sure you can. Come on. Anyway. Yeah. Well, get more popular. Like, I mean, Chrysanthemum was a big one.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. So we'll keep on tracking this kind of thing, because I'm like comics.
Oh yeah, and it's cool to see him on the screen. I love the pipeline, like you said. It's just like great. I get this guy in something with a little bit more eyes. Maybe it is the Gracchus Renaissance. Maybe they're testing the waters out with this little experience, and they're gonna put him into Maul Shadow Lord. Hey, that'd be pretty cool. He could show up in that, because he's in the underworld. He's on Nalhada. They can make a trip there and see some other cool characters.
Was in Nar Shaddaa.
Nar Shaddaa, that's right. Yeah. One of my favorite planets in Star Wars that still hasn't shown up in animation, to my belief. Right.
What's the planet crazy. That the Bad Batch are on? What's that planet?
Ord Mantell.
I keep confusing the two. They're both crime planets.
Galaxy, yeah.
So okay. Smuggler's Moon, Nar Shaddaa Smuggler's Moon, which we do see lots in comics. Well, I think that's where it's definitely where we see Gracchus.
Yep.
Fun times. All right, I think that about does it. We bit of a shorter pod tonight. That's okay. That happens. Next week, hopefully we're gonna have plenty to talk about again. Alex Agura's ongoing, number 5, and Boba Fett Black, White, Red. We're gonna talk about the art in that one. Of these two, which you're looking forward to.
Ongoing 5, because the way it left off with the great stuff with Luke and Han and Valance and Rin are off to a planet that has somehow reactivated battle droids, and they're gonna eventually don Phase 2 clone trooper armor. I'm like, oh, that seems like something I would make up in my bedroom when I'm playing with my action figures when I was 12 years old.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's wild. They're just going full Clone Wars.
Yeah. What if that's like a good what if story? What if Han and Luke were in the Clone Wars? That's our story we're getting this week.
There we go. I mean, basically like a Lego special there. Again, the Black, White, Red. Like I'm looking at my Vader Treasury Edition, and I want to pick up the Maul Treasury Edition. Those, like, the visuals and the covers for these are spectacular with the Boba Fett. So. And it's Boba Fett. Like, So again, they have such a way of picking characters that work perfectly for this.
Oh yeah.
And I'm kind of I'm bored with the green. I like my only action figure of Boba Fett at all ever that I've ever bought
What?
is this black one.
What, really?
Yeah. I don't care. I mean, I do a little bit, but I'm like,
gosh, I have about 5 within the camera range.
I believe you. I believe you. But
there's a pop figure, there's a Lego figure, there's I think a 3 3/4 somewhere back there.
Yeah. I mean, if I were to get think of Boba Fett, it would be Daniel Logan from Attack of the Clones.
Oh yeah, I think I have a figure of him as well.
But nope, this is it. The black from the comic. So yeah, looking forward to what everyone does with the starkly, sharply limited color palette there, and then the butt kicking story that they always use. So yeah, looking forward to that. Do go to your local comic book shop, check that out. I know that the implosion of Diamond continues apace, but hopefully, the local comic shops they're adapting. So yeah, check out your local shop there to pick these up. That's Star Wars number 5 and Boba Fett Black, White, and Red. Number 1, Chris, not a bad issue, not a bad pair of issues. Pretty good conversation. I think we quitted ourselves. There we go. Where can they find you on the internet?
Oh yeah, there's one other news story. I got one other news story.
You got another news story. Okay.
Yeah, so this is an update for all of you on the East Coast heading out to New York Comic Con. I just happened to refresh because I was looking at this to give backstory of the schedule, the panel schedule of Star Wars stuff at New York Comic Con.
Mm-hmm.
They put up the schedule about a month earlier than they usually do, and it's not got everything on there. And obviously missing from that list was, oh my gosh, there's no Lucasfilm publishing panel.
Yeah.
And I'll give you guys a bit of history with me. I've been going to this convention since I think 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't missed one except for when it was literally closed due to COVID, and they've had that every single time. So I'm just like, okay, every couple of days I'd refresh the list, and there it was today. I refreshed the list of Star Wars searching and the panel list, and there it was. So yes, those of you that are heading out to I was going to say Star Wars Celebration. No, not that. New York Comic Con.
Read Pop.
Which is it's the event runs from Thursday, October 9th to Sunday, October 12th. And it's on the panel itself, Lucasfilm's Stories, is from Saturday early at 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. We're gonna have Charles Saul, we're gonna have Mark Guggenheim, we're gonna have Ethan Sachs, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, Kwame
Mbalia.
Yeah, who is the author of the Last Order upcoming novel,
the Finn Jana book,
the Finn Jana post-Rise story coming out, young adult. And there also is going to be a signing for all those same people we just mentioned, literally like 15 minutes after the panel. My own 2 cents on this is they're probably going to early release the Last Order book, and we'll be able to get it signed by the author there, which will be great. But then I'm looking at the list, and there's always more authors than they actually have announced.
Yeah.
But Ethan Sachs is going to be done with his run of the Poe Dameron stories, I think, by that point.
Yeah.
So other than just telling people to like pick up like a week or two old story, I think he'll probably announce something new. I've been to these things so many darn times. When I see an author that isn't working on something currently or it's finishing, it's like, okay, they're probably going to announce a new project. And I would hope it's another Marvel project.
Yeah.
I mean, we have Valance right now with Luke and Han. Why don't we spin off in issue 10 and he does his own thing and then start a number 1 of whatever his thing is going to be. There we go. Ranger of the New Republic. We're going to get Valance Rangers of the New Republic or something.
There we go.
Like that. It's been a long time coming. We'll get it in comic book form. There we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Actually, Codebreaker. So there's no issue in September, so it won't be done. October 29th is the last issue.
Interesting. Okay, so I mean, I hold out hope that he'll announce that there will be something announced. There's never nothing new announced. Like there's always something that they announce at these things. So other than that, as far as Star Wars, I'll let you guys know like the full breakdown as we get closer, because sometimes there is even more stuff. I know last year they did have a Dark Horse Star Wars panel, but that was also while High Republic was going on, and there was a lot of Dark Horse High Republic stuff. So I don't think there will probably be a Dark Horse Star Wars comic panel at this point, but
never know.
you never know. Never know.
I mean, I see two conflicting bits of information. Either so Wikipedia is saying October 29th. My own thing that I got from the Dark Horse site is saying September 24th. So I'll have to check the Dark Horse site again.
I hope they don't skip a month. I was getting excited for that cool Clone Wars Poe Dameron. You know, they're aiming for that story to go with Poe Dameron and like N1 Naboo starfighter blowing some First Order ties. That's gonna look really cool and satisfying. So
gonna be a good climax for that one. I will say in the panel he talked a lot about Valance. So I don't know if that means anything, but
okay.
So
and I hope it's an extension. I hope that we're just not leaving this era behind after 10 issues of the ongoing. I know it's like not even Alex Segura is mentioned on this panel, which is a little bit concerning because it's like, are we not going to talk about the ongoing for a second panel at Comic-Con now in the year? You know, what's happening here? What's going on? I don't know.
So either way, my FOMO is real. I wish I could go. Wish I could be there in the room.
Well, you got a whole year to save for next year. So
there's also celebration.
I think you'll regret never skipping it again.
Yes,
you're gonna just be like, from now on, this is my vacation.
Yeah, forget San Diego.
October.
San Diego's overrated. I'm just gonna go to New York.
There you go. I mean, honestly, looking at the panel schedule, I think it does look better than what I've seen at San Diego. I hate to say it. They even have Hasbro this year. I'm like, dude.
Oh, they had Hasbro at San Diego
booth.
That's how I got the Revenge of the Sith Black series. But
So they never had Hasbro booth at New York Comic Con.
Sure.
Plus, DC has a gigantic booth like the size of Marvel, which is a giant booth every year. So it's like, there's big stuff happening here. We got the Alien franchise. We got the Game of Thrones franchise. We got the Marvel franchise showing up with like their Hall H caliber stuff with like animation and TV and everything else. It's like, DC, I'm sure we'll have something. James Gunn in the house. He was there last year. So I'm pumped. I'm excited. We still got 4 weeks ago. So I'll talk more about this as we get closer to not beat the dead horse too much here. But
beat the dark horse instead. No, I'm just kidding. There we go. All right, fun times. All right, so that does it.
There we go. That's almost closer to an hour.
There we go. We got there. Again, I'm so looking forward to. I mean, I'm looking forward to living vicariously through you, Chris. Is what I'm doing here. There we go. Please do send me all your photos, all your thoughts. Send me voice messages from your Comic Con. There you go. And in the meantime, where can they find you on the internet?
Yeah, you can find me over on Twitter, twitter.com/StarRaptor. Over there, I'm posting about video games. I'm posting skate videos. I am posting about Star Wars and a lot about DC and how obsessed I am with like your friend over there in Canada. Yes, we're both obsessed with DCU right now. I'm really liking the direction. Peacemaker has been absolutely crushing it. I put out this crazy tweet saying, in just 3 episodes of Peacemaker, that series has done a better job with the multiverse than all Phase 4 and 5 of Marvel combined, man. Like, the feels, the writing, the acting, it's like, this is great. This is top tier stuff. And it's a joke character, and they're still managing to do this. So it's crazy to me.
I gotta check it out. There you go. Nice. And anything going on? Transmissions?
Sorry, I almost forgot to manage to tell you where I'm actually from. And that's YouTube, youtube.com/StarRaptor. Took a break last week because I was too busy playing old school Star Wars arcade games in New York City there.
Nice.
But we're going to be back this week. We'll be catching up on the news. I know there's some stuff with the Destiny 2 crossover with Star Wars. I might mention the Gracchus the Hutt thing as well over there, and whatever else breaking Star Wars news might happen between now and Sunday. We'll be live on the channel, youtube.com/StarUp this Sunday at 7 p.m. breaking down whatever else is out there.
Yeah, there we go. You can check that out. You can check me out on Instagram, MNAUG1138. Also beaches.foodie. I still have to post that thing. I still haven't posted that thing. One thing. Also Twitter. Yeah. Well, MNAUG1138 is also Threads and Blue Sky. Now I've got it correct. There we go. Threads and Blue Sky there, and Twitter NEUG485, and beaches.foodie on Instagram, but of course also the Tractor Beam on Blue Sky. Please do give that a look. And also this past Monday, I should say, on the Ion Cannon podcast right here. It's every Monday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, right here on the Underworld channel. We talked about Joel and I just did our thing that we do and talked about successor states and regime change and government succession and all that historical policy stuff. There was some Star Wars in there, I promise, but it was kind of how these real world dynamics can help us understand the transition from the Republic to the Empire to the First Order, etc. This coming Monday, if everything lines up, we're going to get I'm going to pre-record an interview with a certain Star Wars author, and I won't tell you who. You have to come back to find out. And then Joel and I are going to talk about what comes up in that interview. So please do check that out. That is, again, this Monday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, right here on the Underworld YouTube channel. And then, of course, next week, also on the Underworld YouTube channel, please do check out that panel with Ethan and Paolo and everything Ethan had to say about Ballard Valance. Why not? There we go. And then, of course, next week we are talking about ongoing number 5 and Boba Fett Black, White, and Red number 1 right here, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. When next Wednesday night, because Wednesdays are for comics and comics are for Wednesdays, and there are new Star Wars stories coming out every single Wednesday. We're not in a drought. We're in a drought on screen, but we're not in a drought overall every week. So we're going to dive into those. But until then, happy reading.